Yes, good evening, dear viewers. This is Gaza Media, and this program is a voice. We're just coming to you for update of what is happening in Cameroon after the presidential election of that took place on Sunday, the 12th of October. And there's so much that has been going on since yesterday. Issa Chiroma of the FSNC party proclaimed himself as the president-elect or the winner of the election, despite that the Minister of Interior, Mr. Paul Atanganji, has sent out a warning that nobody should proclaim himself or should make any public announcement. But that did not happen. But this evening, we just want to have an update. There's a lot of videos circulating on social media, different posting, the irregularities. There has been some demonstration that has been taking place since yesterday and even today. So I will bring in Mr. Vitalis Lekenjo, who is a lawyer and activist uh, from the BLM, so that we can share some of what is happening in Cameroon right now. Please, if you are joining in, you can share the link and invite your friends, family to just follow up the kind of discussion that we'll be discussing this evening. And the time now is 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let me bring in Mr. Vitalis. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Vitalis, you are good evening and welcome to Gaza Media.
Good evening, Mr. Ernest. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So I know there's a lot that has been happening on different social media. I've seen you have been very active, writing, trying to motivate. Let me first of all ask you: are you a supporter of any of this political party?
Prior to the conduct of the elections, I have always been a political activist, but I do not side with any political party. I'm not a vote holder for any political party, but exceptionally, we did endorse President-elect His Excellency Issa Chiroma few days to the conduct of the elections.
So yes, that I was giving on my introduction that you remember the Minister of Interior or the Minister of Territorial Administration. I think that was Saturday or before the election. Gave an announcement that after election everything is going back, everything should go back to normal. So people are like, you are saying after election everything has to go back to normal. That people are expecting the outcome of election, but hearing the minister making that statement and also citing that nobody should make a proclamation. But Isha Sharma yesterday went ahead and proclaimed himself as the winner of the party. Do you think that was in violation or he has the right to do?
Um, Thank you so much. I feel that there are certain things that lawyers and activists should be able to stand on, irrespective of the repressiveness of any regime that we find ourselves in. The law is very clear. If you look at Section 113 of the Electoral Code of Cameroon, the law governing the conduct of elections in Cameroon, it is very clear that immediately after counting is done in each polling unit, they shall make the results public. So when you make those results public, the representative of each political party goes home with their own process verbal. When you get home with your process verbal, you do a tally of from the various political units, and you are able to know a projection of who is the president or who won that election. So His Excellency President Issa Chiroma Bakary was well within the ambit or the provisions of the electoral code when he declared himself winner. In the United States, for instance, nobody declares a president winner. You are a projected winner until the official results come out. And I want to hasten to state clearly to Mr. Atanganji that ELECAM is mandated or is charged with the conduct of elections in Cameroon. I cannot understand the level of interference that the Minister of Territorial Administration brought upon himself to harass, intimidate, violate, and illegally try to reduce the voice of contesting parties, be that the candidates, the opposition candidate themselves, or even the social activists or the Cameroonians themselves who are part and parcel of this equation. So I hold very strongly, legally and politically that Issa Chiroma Bakary, after the tally of vote from the polling stations, which were exceptionally made public because of the advent of social media, is president-elect, and he had the right to claim his victory because we realized within time that the CPD and political party, the cronies, the so-called elites who have nothing to write home with, had started doctoring the results, and we have an observer from GDCOM and a host of others that we even collated within the Libya division when they have started doctoring the results. So, in when you realize that the electoral law is about to be violated, it is the responsibility of each and every Cameroonian and well-wisher to ensure that you use every means possible to avoid the abrogation of the law. And that's why some of us are calling on Minister Atanganji to hold the militants of the CPDM who have flagrantly violated the electoral law of Cameroon, doctored paves. People are crying foul. And I also call on other opposition candidates to do the needful by endorsing Issa Chiroma because that is how it is done. And that's how he is going to be the next president of Cameroon.
Yes, but Mr. Vitalis, I think you realize results are still coming in. Some of the results that were tallied are still coming in even up to today. And at the same time, I know that irregularity. How do people just pinpoint that it is maybe the ruling party that want to rig election? There were more than 10 parties. I think there were like 12 parties that were represented. How do people not also think that other party too may be trying to fraud the election as well?
Mr. Ernest, thank you for that issue. So far, so good. All allegations of fraudulent conduct has been placed on the CPDM. They have been trying to use the administrative authorities, the divisional officers, the sub-divisional officers, the elites, the ministers who only go to their villages after every 7 years during the conduct of elections. They have been, as we speak, President Issa Chiroma even granted an interview today. Some members of his party have been arrested, who were polling station representative of his party, have been arrested because they refuse to sign doctored process verbals. We expect that the state of Cameroon, which is empowered by law to protect the laws of the land, they should go after those administrative officers, arrest and detain them. If the CPD political party, after 43 years, they feel that they are not ready for elections, they should not conduct one. Let them proclaim Paul Biya a king. But as long as they open up the system to an electoral process, they are they are bound to respect the outcome of that election and to pronounce the winner whosoever the will of the people have determined.
Yes, we saw some images too coming on. Let me try to see if I can put those images in here. For today, I think this was maybe probably in Chang, where there was it looked like there's some fire incident. Let me check out. Let's just have a little bit of a look here. Okay, what seems to be look like there's some fire going on, or like they have set somewhere ablaze. I think that was already like late in the evening. That could maybe somewhere that because it was already dark in Chang. So, and somewhere today in Douala, we saw a police truck spraying water to bystander. There was something, a demonstration, but there was just a crowd of people. You could not really tell if they were demonstrating or anything. Why do you think all this is going on? What?
To start with, the inflammatory statements from the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, I suspect is the reason why all these things happen. When elections have been conducted, Elecam presumably should be collating their results. And I want to correct us, and I'm not correcting you, I mean to clarify the issue that as we speak, no results are anywhere still going. On the 12th of October, all process verbals were signed, or all results were proclaimed, not really proclaimed, at the various polling stations were made public.
The bulletins, the
Yeah,
bulletin.
the results, the counting was
Mhm.
made public. And unfortunately for the regime, we have those results clearly as they were on the board, forgetting even the process verbals. So if, let's say in Chang, Issa Chiroma would trash Mr. Bia very clearly, it was clearly written on the board. And then suddenly the process verbals is saying something else. We are pushing Cameroon to what we are not ready for. That's the gospel truth. When the Minister of Territorial Administration went on air making very unprofessional statements, you are inciting the youths to violence. And I feel that in the next republic, we should make recommendations that there is no need for a 2 weeks gap, because we have realized that this 2 weeks gap, which initially we thought was intended to have a fair conduct of the election, is room for manipulation, rigging, and theft of the people's will. So when the Minister of Territorial Administration, Atanganji, went on air threatening the youth, making statements, you realize that from what we saw today, which well, everybody was looking up to the north to say, okay, maybe there could be some disturbance. But while they were waiting for the north, it started in Chang. They burned down the CPDM secretariat, where they have their hall. They burned down the courts. They burned down a host of places. And it was not just in Chang. So we have to be clear. In Limbe today, there was an incident. It started in Douala early in the morning. Bafang, as we speak, information that we are getting is that youths are on the street. Mr. Ernest, if Mr. Bia won this election, why will everybody be on the street? If Mr. Bia won this election, why is the CPDM, for the first time since I was born, why have they not proclaimed that they won? Every time immediately after elections, for those of us from Lebialem, we don't want to be calling names. CPDM will be flaunting everywhere, claiming victory. Why have they not done so? Even the 2018 election, when Kamto declared victory, the CPDM was saying that they won, coming out with process of advance and so on. What failed them this time is we were ready for them. We had instructed, of course, I'm not speaking for the party, I mean us, the civil society activists. We had instructed every polling unit to avail us with your results even before you sign the process paper. So most of these results were counted publicly on billboards, on a notice boards,
Yeah.
and the videos of the counting were transmitted to some of us for independent collation. So the CPDM, my brother, the tactics they have been using, it has failed. This time around, Issa Chiroma did not only defeat Bia, he beat Bia even in Bia's own fief. For Minister Tanganji, who has been making so much noise, I want to send a very clear message to him. If he feels that they have been using the military against civilians, let them rethink. Let them go back. I know, of course, they have doctor results, but let them take their time in their quiet CPDM fraudulent moment and go back to the original results. They will be shocked that Issa Chiruma won in almost every military station. That should send a message to them that the military this time around will stand with the people and protect the will of the people and protect the interests of democracy, because Cameroon is supposed to be a democratic state. Nobody asked them to send us for elections.
Mr. Vitalis, what do you make of this? Despite all the campaign, you mentioned the BLM, despite all the campaign that the CPDM militant with the BLM elite, who most of them are members of the CPDM, despite all the campaign that they did throughout the entire divisions, but we got some confidential information that Issa Chiroma still won in most of those police stations in the BLM. of which maybe I didn't even see any of the militant campaigning, any of the militant of the Chiroma campaigning, apart from many people who may have seen the campaign on social media, his speeches when he was doing rally in different places.
My brother, they used to say a good product needs no advertisement. We are not saying that Issa Chiroma is the best candidate. Let me take the words of one of the bishops. He stated clearly that even if we want to live from fire pan to fire, let us taste a new fire. For 43 years, I am a bona fide Lebialem child, born and bred, actively involved in almost every aspect of life of Lebialem. For 43 years, of course, I'm not even up to 43. Let me speak for my lifespan, at least below 40. These same politicians have been lying to us. On the day prior to at the eve of the election, I sent a message to Lebi Alem Forum, where most of the elites are, the funds are, and I said clearly that whatsoever campaign somebody is doing to you now, it cannot work. The only thing we Lebi Alem people have always asked for is not even employment. It's not even this. Of course, they have to give us that. Just tell us the Bakebe, the you have a law, Lewo, Fontem, Bakebe Road. That is the only thing. We need access to infrastructure so that our poor mothers and fathers can be able to carry their goods to a market. If you know the amount of produce that gets rotten in the bush in Lebialem, you'll be shocked. We have some of the best cocoa farms. Wabane produces some of the best Irish potatoes, but carrying your goods to the market is as expensive as working on that farm for the whole year. So, what could the elites come and tell us this year? We saw the Lebialem elites and people who have been suffering, who do not even benefit from government. They contributed about 90 million for their campaigns. We are not part of them. We saw the list circulating everywhere. And we ask ourselves, if you have 70 million, why don't you use it to give scholarship to some Lebialem kids? Is there any elite, apart from one who is from South, I will not call his name in public, who can really boast that he has helped anybody in Lebialem? Are we not ashamed that we hold prestigious positions in government, like such as this reconstruction thing, where there are hundreds of billions, and much of Lebialem was destroyed. GBHS on them was burned down. A couple of properties were burned down. That you don't even need evidence. It is there that we hold such important portfolios. We cannot sacrifice 20, 30 million from the billions to construct that, so that when you come after 7 years, you come and tell us that, okay, this building was constructed by government. Every year you carry your suit and 150,000 military men and come to campaign every 7 years. You think people are fools? You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool the people all the time. We, the Lebialem people, we say enough is enough. We are not saying that we hate the CPD and political party. We are just saying that when you want us to vote for you, you have to prove to us why we should vote for you. Most of these guys, they studied abroad, or they are always abroad. Their children are abroad. They come here every time. They see how clean the airport is. They see how clean the roads are. They see how developed the schools are. They see how developed the citizens are. So why can't we apply that in our homes? I sent clear messages to all the Lebialem forums. I told them that if an elite comes to you and gives you money, take it, it's state money, and vote against them. And we are happy that that happened. It sent across a strong message. And this shall continue during the municipal and parliamentary elections. And so nobody will impose a candidate on any Lebialem child. Never.
Therefore means that from what I'm getting from you, therefore means that because I remember the Minister Paul Tasson during his last rally campaign on Saturday prior to the election day, he said the VLM, it was a kind of promising that he already had a victory, two fingers showing victory, and the honorable parliamentarian said people should the BLM people should give back their own jangi, is that they should play back not only 50% but 100%. But it appears like maybe at this time in time they didn't thought maybe the minds of the people may have changed, or people are no longer the same 7 years ago.
No, we were not even 7 years ago. We're still very resolute, but not this way. We are not saying 7 years ago anything changed. We are saying that 7 years ago we were more focused on voting and not protecting the votes. That will never happen again. We have established a movement in Libya, and that movement is known as Never Again Movement. We don't have to run for political office, but if you want to run for political office, you have to be X-rayed. We don't just want people to come and stand and run for elections. The Lebialem councils in Lebialem, especially in Lower Lebialem, I don't know about Wabane, for instance, but I know that the other councils have not been operating, but they have been signing money in Yaoundé. There's actually a forum in abroad now which they are using to chase them. They don't even have operational cost. I'm saying that they don't have operational cost that you can visa. So where has the money been going? And we saw that it is actually in billions. But I don't want to forget, you raised the issue of Minister Paul Tasson coming to declare victory that they have already won. Wonder who will vote for them. He has been a minister for long. He has been in top government position. He is currently manning one of the key positions where you don't need to justify how you use money. Or I mean, I'm not saying you don't have to justify, please. You don't have to that you can use money, which is very easily accounted for, which is the reconstruction. What has he done in Libya with reconstruction? You are a journalist. Go back to him and ask him. And that I said so. What has he done in Libya? I am from Libya. I'm privileged to have been the youth council president. I speak with all the Libya, not all the Libya youth, but Libya youth in all the 17 condoms. They know me personally, most of them. When you talk to this person, you say, okay, maybe but I don't do something for different side. Everybody say nothing to write home with. In his own village, Issa Chiroma was strongest there. Unfortunately for them, we have the pavers. I will not even want to address Forgy because for me, that one is a non-existent person. That's the first person that will kick out. He's unfit to be a parliamentarian. He cannot even speak the language. Where did he even find himself there? If CPDM wants us to vote for them, let them send candidates who are what they sought. After being in parliament for 24 years, how different are you from Bia who has been there for 43 years? They have seen the backlash, and it shall continue this way. You don't come during elections in your limos and Toyota Land Cruisers with 100 military men to come and convince us. It will not work. Of course, we denounce the violence though, but when people are pushed to the extreme, the only thing they do is they retaliate.
So right now, with Issa Sharma, how do you predict he's going to maybe get a case, knowing all from all what you're saying that CPDM, because of course a lot of people are saying, yeah, of course we know that the electoral official are appointees by the president or the government, which was the CPDM, the Constitutional Council, that will finally declare election after 2 weeks, is also appointee. And H.R. Solomon himself is saying that how would these people be partial, unbiased when they are proclaiming this result? So if finally CPDM finally the proclaim Pobia the winner, what would your candidate or what would the opposition do? It will be the same
Yeah,
like 7 years ago we come to.
yeah, I proudly accept that Issa Chiroma was my candidate. I endorse him publicly, even though I'm not a card holder yet of his party. Um, I feel that we cannot do same thing every year and expect a different result. You and I, we have to agree that the regime has been very brutal. For a sitting minister to leave your government and run a campaign against you, it means that they have their plan. I will not speak for him, but it's just common sense. I was privileged to work as a procureur. I've been a lawyer for a long time. I've been a human rights lawyer. So we have templates from other countries. Um, from what I saw today, which I know you saw, you have even played some of those excerpts. I don't think It is in the interest of Bia and his cabal to try to defraud Issa Chiroma of his victory. You, myself, Bia, Atanganji, and all of their people, then know that Issa Chiroma won. The beauty about social media is that it exposes you. The bad thing about social media is that it works against the dictators or those who are opaque
Mhm.
the governing of affairs. So Issa Chiroma has served as Minister of Communication. Issa Chiroma has served as Minister of Employment. Prior to that, Issa Chiroma was there during the days of Ahijo. He was there during the early days of Bia. He was jailed. This guy has a huge history. And at a point where the country is at a crossroad, my brother, let us appeal even to the consciences of these people in Yaoundé. Governance is a social contract between the governed and those who are elected. When that social contract is abrogated, my brother, leave it. It's not your father's funeral. The people of Cameroon have spoken, and they have spoken clearly from north to south, east to west, Yaoundé to Garoua, in their numbers, that they don't want Bia. Bia could not even campaign. At the start of the campaign, I don't think there is any other show of nonchalance than what Bia and his cronies did. He left the country and went him abroad. When he came back, all his planned campaign venues were cancelled, except the one of the north. If you cannot campaign, how will you rule? Why are we deceiving ourselves? What this power was handed to Bia freely. Why can he not even go among his circle and pick another person? For those of these ministers and those small young boys who are being used to rig this election, of course, against their wish, most of them do. My brother, can you trust your great grandfather to drive you in a car at 93? So why do you think he can be a leader? He can still be a statesman if he's still active. He can be a technical advisor. But what I don't even understand, Bia has retired a lot of people. I think the retirement age is either 55 or 65. He has retired a ton of people.
But he's
Oh,
still
but
there.
uh,
But he's still there. But he's
he's
still.
still there. So is that even logical? When I even see some of these ministers, of course, some of us we talk to senior military men. We talk to most of these ministers. I was the head of the pro bono task force that was set up to to provide free legal services to those who were affected by this Amazonia crisis when it just started. I held that position for 5 years. So we have access to some of these military men. Of course, now you call somebody's name, they go and blackmail them. But of course, they know, we know ourselves. When you talk to them, some of them from Bia's village, they say, Mon frere, let him retire and go and rest. And that's why the results came out. Let them go back to the original results. They are online. All of them have it. They had representatives there. They too were taking these videos. In fact, some of the videos that we have came from the CBDM representatives who said enough is enough. Upstation, Bamenda.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any opposition man living there because anybody who lives there ran. Bia was beaten hands down.
Yeah, it's a yeah. Vitalis, I mean, thank you so much. I think you've given us some insight. I think on our next segment, probably next week, we really want to go into some detail and begin to look at the policy that Issa Soroma, I mean, why his message was resonating, even though, like you mentioned earlier, even though people say he's not the best candidate, they just want a change, but at the same time, you cannot undermine that his message too was not resonating to many Cameroonians.
Yes, Issa Chiroma. One thing is, thank you for the interview. Let me just state this. Issa Chiroma, one thing that he stood out among all the other candidates was his ability to communicate. You see, there is uh, there is beauty in humility. Issa Chiroma, all of us are sinners in one way or the other. Issa Chiroma accepted his sins not on paper, not on anywhere, not in the room, in front of the very people who were most affected. I saw Minister Paul Tasson. I was very embarrassed as a Lebi Lem child because a minister does not talk for Lebi Lem people. Just that our funds have given their rights to somebody who is not even elected. Lebialem is. Let me use this opportunity to send across that message. People do not understand. Some people, you can take it as disrespectful, but I will state it clearly as a Lebialem child and as a lawyer and as a social critic. Lebialem is made up of 17 condoms. Every fandom is independent of its own right. The only person who can even manage to pretend to speak for the BLM is a lone parliamentarian, which we will not say accept because it's a CPDM crony. You cannot, as a minister, say the BLM people say Issa Chiroma should be arrested. For what? They all speak with separatist fighters. All of them. When they are going to the village, when they are calling to negotiate, when they are doing this, who is fooling who? Issa Chiroma was Minister of Communication. He used to even come on and say, okay, I am calling on my children to leave the bushes and so on. How are the ones who are leaving the bush, how are they living? Is it not through negotiations? Let us not be so dogmatic. We should understand that this is a well of negotiation, mediation. And for us lawyers, we say litigation is the last choice. So if Issa Churuma could even extend an olive branch to Chris Anu and others, that is commendable. And that is a message that instead of inciting that he should be arrested, Paul Tassom and others should learn from that. That is not everything that you use brute force. And for the Cameroon government, please, we beg you, we state it as it is. The Cameroon people have decided. Next time, prepare for your campaign and win elections. For this time, those of us who monitor some of these elections, you did not win. Don't try to derail the will of the people. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mr. Vitalis, thank you. Vitalis Kenju is a lawyer and activist and has a lot of insight on what is currently going on, the political atmosphere in Cameroon. Thank you, dear viewer. We'll continue to monitor this election result, what is happening in Cameroon, the message that Issa Solma is sending out. Why is it resonating to so many youth in Cameroon? And on our next segment, we will be looking into all of that. Until then, we wish you a wonderful night, and bye bye for now.